I woke up in a hospital. My daughter was sitting beside me. Her face was white. Her hands were shaking in her lap. She leaned forward and said, "Dad, you had a heart attack." I lay there, tubes in my arm, machines beeping, a white ceiling above me. And in that quiet, that terrible, still quiet, all I could hear was James. "One day, Walter, one day you will wish you had listened." That day had come. I am 94 years old. I am sitting in a hospital bed, not for the first time, not for the second, the third time this year. And every time I end up in this bed, I think about the same man. A quiet man, soft voice, kind eyes. My doctor, James. He warned me for 40 years. 40 years. He sat across from me every single year and told me exactly what I needed to change. And every single year I looked at him across that desk, and I laughed. I told him I felt fine, that I was strong, that I was different. He would nod, write something in his notes, and let me go. What I didn't know was that feeling fine is the most dangerous lie a body ever tells you. I know that now. At 94, sitting in this bed with tubes in my arm and a heart that has already broken once, I know it too late. But maybe you don't have to learn it the way I did. So let me tell you what I have never told anyone. My name is Walter. I am 94 years old. I first walked into James's office when I was 52. A routine checkup, nothing serious, or so I thought. He checked everything: blood, heart, weight, cholesterol. And then he sat down, folded his hands on the desk, looked at me. "Walter," he said, "there are things we need to change, right now, while we still can." I remember smiling at him. I was 52. I ran a business. I worked 12-hour days. I had never felt stronger in my life. "James," I said, "I feel great, never better." He looked at me for a long moment. "That's what worries me," he said. I didn't understand what he meant. I paid my bill, walked out, got in my car, and I didn't think about it again for another year. The warnings came every year after that. Every year I sat in that same chair. Every year James told me the same things. Watch what you eat, move your body, rest more, slow down. But I was a busy man. I had a company to run, a family to provide for. My body, I told myself, was built for this. I was 64 when James got serious. He put my file down on the desk, and he looked at me differently than he ever had before. "Walter, I need you to really hear me this time." I was already reaching for my coat. "The numbers aren't good. The pattern isn't good. If we don't make real changes now, the next 10 years will be very different from the last 10. I laughed. I remember the exact sound of it. Loud, relaxed, confident. "James," I said, "you worry too much." He didn't laugh back. He just looked at me, quiet, still. "One day, Walter, one day you will wish you had listened." I thought he was being dramatic. I drove straight from his office to my favorite restaurant, ordered exactly what he had told me not to eat. What I didn't know was that James wasn't being dramatic. He was giving me time. Time I didn't know I was wasting. My wife, Margaret, noticed things before I did. "Walter, you look tired. Walter, you're breathing differently. Walter, please, just call James." I told her she worried too much. She didn't fight me on it. She just went quiet. But around that time, she started sleeping differently, lighter, one ear always open through the night. She was listening for me. She never told me that. She didn't want me to worry, but she knew. She had always known. Then came the morning I turned 78. I woke up and something felt different. Not wrong exactly, just heavy. A thickness in my chest. A weight I hadn't felt before. I told myself it was age. It was nothing. I made my coffee, the same as every morning for 40 years. sat in my chair by the window, opened the newspaper, and then the room tilted. I remember the cup. I remember the sound it made when it hit the floor, and then nothing. I woke up in a hospital. My daughter was sitting beside me. Her face was white. Her hands were shaking in her lap. She leaned forward and said, "Dad, you had a heart attack." I lay there, tubes in my arm, machines beeping, a white ceiling above me. And in that quiet, that terrible still quiet, all I could hear was James. "One day, Walter, one day you will wish you had listened." That day had come. They saved me that day. But saving me came with a price. The years after the heart attack were not the same years. Stairs I once climbed without thinking I now had to plan for. Trips I had promised Margaret, they never happened. Energy I had treated as limitless, it was gone. And here is the thing nobody tells you. When you ignore your body for decades, your body does not forget. It keeps a record. Every warning you dismissed. Every meal that wasn't right. Every morning you pushed through when your body was asking you quietly, gently, to stop. It writes it all down. And one day, not when you choose, but when it chooses, it hands you the bill. Margaret passed away 4 years after my heart attack. She never once said, "I told you so." She just held my hand in that hospital room and cried quietly. That woman, she knew everything, and she loved me anyway. James retired when I was 82. I went to his office to say goodbye. He made us both tea. We sat together for a while without saying much. Then I said it. The words I had never said in 40 years of appointments. "James, you were right. About all of it." He looked at me for a long time. Then he smiled. But it wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of a man who had hoped all along that he would be wrong. "I know, Walter," he said softly. "I just wish you hadn't needed to learn it this way." I have thought about that afternoon every day since. Because here is what I understand now at 94 in this hospital bed, that I did not understand at 52 or 64 or even 78. Your body is not your enemy. A warning is not an insult. Every doctor who ever sat across from you and said we need to change something, they were handing you time, real time, years, decades. And when you laugh at the warning, you are not proving you are strong. You are spending years you don't know you have. I spent 40 years of warnings, 40 years of second chances, and I laughed at every single one. I don't know how much longer I have. No machine in this room measures what's left. But I know this. If you are 50 right now, you have time. If you are 60, you still have time. If someone in your life, a doctor, a spouse, a friend, has been asking you to change something, to slow down, to listen, they are not being dramatic. They are being James. And if you don't listen, one day you will be me, lying in a hospital bed, thinking about all the appointments you laughed through, all the mornings you pushed past when your body was asking you, gently, patiently, to stop. Don't wait for the room to tilt. Don't wait for the cup to fall. Don't wait for the face of someone you love to go white beside you. Listen now, while the warnings are still just words, before they become the only thing you have left to think about. I am 94 years old. I had 40 years of warnings, and I laughed at every one of them. I am still paying the price. Don't make my mistake.